we have some preliminary data. Okay, this is a caveat. There are processes and procedures by which at OSPI we verify and clarify the data we're presenting before we do so. So this is not a published version, although we are in a meeting where we want to share some preliminary data so that we can have a conversation about it. So knowing that, these are not made up numbers. These come from the S275 data system, and that's where educator data is put in by districts and then sorted and analyzed by the state. So go ahead with the next one. Okay, so looking here, we have this bar graph. Residency first issue certificates with special education endorsements for the last 10 years. Out-of-state issues is orange and in-state issues is blue. Okay, now does this mean every out-of-state is someone who moved to Washington? No. Sometimes you can live in Washington, go to the University of Internet, and then you still live in Washington and you're considered an out-of-state endorsement. Okay, so just bear in mind that is possible that does happen rather frequently, and there is not a data check at the OSPI to really disaggregate that at this point.
Kim, I saw you unmuting. Was that a question that you had about this?
No, I think you answered it. That was going to be my question because I did see that there is a large percentage of out of state. So thank you for clarifying that.
Doesn't mean they moved here. So the in-state programs, for it to be an in-state program, that means that program has sought and been granted approval from the Professional Educator Standards Board. They have a site in Washington. So take a Western Governors University. They actually prepare a large number of folks with special ed endorsements. Yes, they are national, but they are not out of state because they have a building here. And so they went through the process of approval as well. All right, let's go on to the next one. Okay, so this gives us some information about years of experience. So take a minute and soak this in. Numbers of special education teachers. And this is just for last year. Now, this is where part of the caveat piece is. In the S275, you can have part of your full-time equivalency be a special education teacher. So in other words, you could be 0.1 of a special education teacher. We did not include the farthest down end of that when someone was only doing it a little tiny bit. So this is where most of your work is a special education teacher. And I think that it goes without saying that if you stack up those who have taught 0 to, they're in their first 5 years, that is a significant percentage of everybody. And if you take who's in their first 10 years, that's more than the rest of them. So this is really telling in that way. You have a pretty steady decline. And this is part of the interest of our grant and of our focus. Okay, let's go ahead. That compares in this way to general education teachers. Do you see how between year 5 and year 10, in the last one, we had a drop of probably 20%, whereas here we have a drop of maybe 2%? Okay, so after 5 years, it's hard to keep being a special education teacher, this would suggest. Also, look at how we don't have, there is a precipitous drop. Once I've done my 10, I might not make it to 20. But if I made it to, or I might not make it to 15, but if I make it to 15, I'll probably make it to 20, and chances are good I'll make it to 25. All right, so this is some of the ways we're thinking about it. So if you wouldn't mind, Alicia, one back to the other one. Okay, just for one more look. This is what it looks like. We're seeing people jumping ship between 0 and 10 years, and we have about half as many, half of them are gone by 10 years. and then one more at the other for general education. Okay, and by 10 years, we still have more than 66%. So we've probably lost 30% instead of 50% over 10 years. So that matters. Okay, let's go ahead. So disaggregating across race, ethnicity. Couple points to point out. We're nowhere near representative of the student population. And almost twice as many educators of color are paraeducators. Have we been hacked, or is this Alicia? Okay, cool.
That's me, just pointing some things out.
I was
Trying
waiting
to accompany your words with visual.
to see what pictures we'd get. Okay, let's go ahead. All right, so this is a chance to just, sit and think, but be advised, we're soon going to go into a breakout room and talk about this. Okay, so those are some of the quantitative data, and I made some suggestions or implications or stories about what those data might mean, but those are just made up from a general level. And it's really important for the rest of this presentation to start thinking more specifically. So if you just take a minute and think about the special educators that you support. We just shared the demographic information that said about 12% were people of color as special education teachers, 24% as paraeducators. But we also talked about how long they'd been serving in the role. We didn't talk about the ages of those people. We didn't really talk about how they came to these positions. These are things that you might know. So what don't the numbers say about the special educators What don't, we see those precipitous declines, but we don't necessarily know what that means or why in the same way that you do. So let's go ahead.